So recording is on. All
Excellent.
right. So today I have with me Joanne. I always
Liljeholm.
Villager.
We have a
You always
Swedish
want to say
last name and we pronounce it the American way.
so Joanne Liljeholm, who I've known for a few years, and we got connected through Joanne when she was at the spa, at the Cliff House Spa. And since then, Joanne has kind of moved on to do some interesting things. And I thought this would be kind of a nice thing to cover in the series I do, Life with Neil. So, Joanne, I'm going to flip this over to you because I think with what's sort of interesting about what you're doing in the sort of the healing world is with everything that we're going on right now.
Mm.
We need a lot of different ideas on healing.
We do. And I really look forward to this collaboration because I think this is the way that we're all going to evolve in a much faster way.
Sure.
So where I've come from is from the spa world, where we focused on what people are needing continually, creating new treatments. How do we help our folks that are coming to us always, and changing the treatments to adjust to the communities that we're serving. And when you and I came together, we're looking at like how Shaklee came in and how we can use that for our providers and our staff. And it was wonderful. It fit really nicely. And the work that I'm doing now kind of has taken me to a different level. As I was working as a massage therapist and a craniosacral therapist, and I have been always fascinated with the depth of the work. So I'm always looking for what's beneath this muscle. What is the layer beneath? What is the muscle beneath? What is the bone beneath? What is innervating this muscle? And so many times people would come into the spa and say, I really want deep, deep, deep work. And really what they're asking for is to be deeply, deeply, deeply listened to. And so as I approached that, many new therapists would come in and like be very hard and very strong and totally miss the point. And the person really needed to be listened to, and the tissue beneath the tissue worked. And what I found, I was taking a course one time, and it was in craniosacral work. That is working the pulse for the sheath that surrounds the brain and the spinal column. So I'm trained in working those tissues. It's like beneath all the layers of muscle. So I listen really carefully with my hands. And I was in a workshop where they said sound also moves that fluid up and down the spine and helps the central nervous system. And it was just a side note, and it was something that just changed my world. And because I focused on that component, because I was working with a lot of autistic children at that time. And so I would be treating children many times on a table or on the corner of a bench or in their mother's arms, and they always had a hard time. So once I realized that sound goes very deeply in the body, and particularly certain sounds, and that's what I teach, certain sounds move the body in a very different way and make the healing happen much faster. So whatever is working, I'm fascinated with. So
yeah, I mean, it makes me think. I mean, I think most of us love music, right?
Yes, yes.
And music has, lots of different emotions to it.
Yes.
So it doesn't surprise me that sound. I think I've seen, in the past, using sound with plants, right?
Yes. Right.
So what is it? So once you started getting interested in the sound, where did that take you, and what did you find?
So as I started looking at that, there are certain frequencies that are paired more closely with nature, and those frequencies we see. If you look at a cell on a microscopic level, you'll see certain frequencies will strengthen cell walls, will increase connections between cells in communication. And we know that any organism that has really good communication with other cells within itself or with their other species in the group will strengthen and adapt in nature much faster. So the frequencies that we find are ones that were actually lost in our musical scales, right around the 15th, 16th century, right around there. There's a whole group of frequencies that is not in our normal normal music now. It's how we changed how we tuned our instruments at around that time, and they are now frequencies. A few other tones of tuning forks that we use as well. You also will be listening for overtones, where multiple notes will dance together. And when they dance together, they shift the brain in a particular way. So you'll hear overtones in like the alchemy bowls behind me. Those are because they have multiple layers that all kind of come out in the sound all at once, or in a gong, or in the human voice. The human voice has all of the frequencies that we need to repair our bodies, but we just properly.
So is there a particular name for this type of work in terms of?
This is sound healing. So sound healing can come in many versions. So many times you'll hear, like if there's an event, like kind of a good way to dip your toe in the water is to go to something called a sound bath. The proper term for that is a sound immersion, because the sound moves all the way through the whole body, because sound travels in waves. And those waves are, if you look at the wave in particular, it's vibrating molecules. And vibrating molecules will move through the body, and the body will naturally want to entrain to a very more elegant frequency, and we do better at a higher frequency. So we're continually entraining those molecules to do better in our bodies. So most of us are walking around, we start out in life with a full vibration. We're really strong and healthy. Young kids have like so much vibrance. We wonder what happens over time. Something goes awry many times. And this is a way that we can zero in how the energy is flowing in our bodies through sound, because the sound current sounds differently when you move through part of the energetic body, and you can strengthen the body with particular frequencies. So I use tuning forks that you'll see, like just these type of tuning forks. I have several different sets. Alchemy bowls, Tibetan bowls have a rich history, especially these are the antique bowls. So I'll use these resonances to repair the body. And the body naturally wants to repair itself and strengthen its energetic field so that it can respond and do what it's meant to do here. So it's working to support the body energetically and at the base level. So I see your work and my work dovetailing really well.
Yeah. What when you said at a base level, we're really talking at a cellular level, right?
Exactly. So we have much more to work with, much more reserves to use, and to might be much more vibrant in this life. So it's important.
There's a couple of little, sort of interesting little sidebars that popped up for me while you were talking, which is one, it made me think of tribal, and whether it be Native American or African or whatever, where there's a sort of I think, kind of a repetitive melodic, kind of theme that goes on in those. And so I kind of wonder if that may be, I know, related in the sense of, right?
Excellent point. So, go ahead.
No, just finish off and then I'll ask the second one.
Yeah. So if you look at cross-culturally, you'll see sound is used in all different cultures through time. Most creation stories start with a sound reference. It's something that is important to remember right now. We're going through a period in our history where science and the esoteric realms and the mysteries of the years are now finally merging, and we can test certain things, certain frequencies, a mantra. Why is that so important? What does it do in the body? The sound that comes out of our mouths and certain frequencies. Certain ancient languages have more. You'll see the ancient languages have more vowels in them than the later languages. They have more consonants. Vowels function differently in the body, and they will bring people together. A vowel sound draws energy. A consonant sound pulls apart.
Huh.
So you have, if you look at the older languages, they have more connection, and their societies were more connected. So this is a time where we're really to reach out to one another, even though many times right now it seems like we're all isolated. But I've had more connection in the in the last several months than more depth in connection, more true connection.
And then the other thing it made me think about was the use of doulas in birthing. Uh,
Yes,
right? You from, you know, like,
yes, I was a doula for 20 years. I
well,
know it well.
yeah. So, well, okay. So that so I mean, you're sort of natural for this work, but I just
Yeah.
meant you're starting, you know, kind of starting that, you know, because I've always sort of been fascinated on birthing methods and
Excellent.
methods that, you know, run contradictory to what we sort of grown up in Western.
Yes.
La Boye method and water and doulas. So I think it's interesting to think of doulas in that sense of actually, you know, delivering those soothing, healing sounds to both
Absolutely.
the mother and the child.
I love it. And in birth, we have all the sounds that we need to bring that strength that we need. And it's actually two chakras that work together in
Mm.
birth, and it's important to vocalize during those periods of time. So sound is really important during transition times in life, whether it's birth, it's death, it is deep transition in life when we are looking at things in a whole new way. And I
Mm.
think if you look at us globally, this is where we're at right now, where all of us are looking at life in a whole new way. Like, how do we do better? So this is a time where sound is really important. And this is a time where my work I had to leave the spa world, so to speak. I still teach there and to different spas, but now I'm working remotely all over the world. So my goal is to help people restore their wholeness in their bodies.
So
And
that was actually where I was going to go next. So what's the, you know, how does one, you know, a person work with you and how does that work?
so I use the technology that we have. So most people have FaceTime or iPhones where you can just FaceTime or you Facebook video. Very easy. I try to choose methods that are very easy for people to connect with me. And in physics, there's a principle that states it's entanglement theory. So when two molecules have had a relationship together, you can work with them. They respond to each other at a distance, and that's how Reiki works. That's how distant sound healing works. So I create a relationship through video. I'm talking to my person that I'm working with. They could be in Grand Cayman, and I could be here in Maine. They could be in California. I'm here. It doesn't make any difference. I talk with them. I meet them, and I make that connection, and then I can work on their field from here, and it's amazing. So much of this work is done in the quantum realm instead of a linear realm. So it's not so tangible. Like, it has to be right here on this part of the body. I can work on the field from here. So I test a field using a pendulum. So I will work with a representation of the body that I'm working on here. If I'm working on somebody in a different country, I will still connect right here on a table representing all of their chakras. So I will test their chakras on my end, and they can feel it on their end, and they respond. And then I introduce the frequency that is appropriate. So what I'm looking for is a beautiful clockwise spin in every chakra, so that the energy is flowing really well in the body. We bring in energy from the front of our bodies, and then we send it out to the back of our bodies through the spine as well. So I test it on both sides so that we're doing what we're meant to do. So we're saying what we mean to say. We are doing it with great joy, great love. And so most people have either stuck chakras or closed or counterclockwise. We record our experiences in our energetic body.
Wow.
And as we go through life, but we also know we can pick up disturbances in the energetic field 6 to 9 months prior to manifesting in the physical form. So if we can reach it here, it's true preventative work.
Right.
So it really resonated for me when I heard that. If we can reach that and then do the work here, then we're giving all the cells the true support that they need to repair. And we are in self-repairing vehicles. It's just enervating it properly. So it's quite astounding.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me, and I think that, you know, on a lot of levels, it's really logical to me.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think you know, I always sort of come back to this, the way that we're raised and understanding of healing, you know, in terms of our, you know, particularly our culture, you know, how
Right.
we've learned a particular way, which has mostly, for me, have been about a reaction
Yes.
that
Yes.
looked at a symptom as
Right.
opposed to really looking at a cause and
Right.
focusing on what that cause is deficient in,
Right.
or is toxic in. And
Right.
so the sound part of it, I mean, I think it's a really interesting angle. And I think if anybody just really just thinks of music, right?
Yes. Yeah.
There's some music that you love, and there's some music that just you have to like turn it off, right?
I
And
know.
so it's
Right.
the
Right.
exact sound.
There's a very interesting component to that too. If with certain music, if the singer or the artist is full of elevated emotion, it's
Mhm.
going to relate. It's going to convey in the music, and you'll see a very different effect in the listener. You will hear more overtones. You'll hear more harmonics. You pick it up. Your ear is very the ear is the most innervated sense organ in the body. And we hear truth really well. We hear when somebody is really speaking from the heart or singing from the heart. It will go right through you. You could listen to an orchestra conducted by a conductor that is so well loved, and the same piece of music that is just wonderful, and it just goes right through you. And then you can have the same set of artists playing the same music with a different structure for a conductor. You know, the one that is like very harsh and
Yeah,
very detail oriented. It must be precise, and it will sound totally different.
yeah,
You won't like to listen to it.
yeah. I
And
totally know that.
you can. It's
It-
always
So, Joan, how does somebody get in touch with you? And we'll put it in the credits at the end. But how does somebody reach out to you and find out more? And
absolutely. So I have a website, joanneliljeholm.com.
mhm,
So joanneliljeholmsound.com.
mhm.
And you can go on there. I will list, I have videos of my work. I describe what I do, and you can learn more about my work right through there. You can book treatments with me as well. And I can treat anywhere that you are. So if you are a home and you're can't get out right now, I can come to you very easily. So that is a really lovely thing. But I also have a small studio that I see people in person as well. So if you like to have the sound treatment in person, I do that as well. And I'm also a massage and craniosacral therapist. So I will just include that in there. But I will treat with sound in everything that I do. So even just a massage has some sound if you have it with me, because I want you to feel healthy and right down to the core of you. So that's how you can
Well,
reach me.
I just think this is, you know, fascinating, and I think we'll get this posted up and shared.
Great, thank
But
you.
I really appreciate you just sort of taking the time with me to do this.
Excellent, thank you. I really enjoyed it as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll pause right here.